everybody who's taking the time to tune in today, or is watching the videos later on after recorded. From the bottom of my heart, I can't tell you how much it means to me. I know you can be doing so many other things with your time. So I appreciate you investing in it here. Now, before we get started, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
Oh, me nerves, it's about time we started. This here's the Mac City Morning Show.
Okay, and we're back. So I'm super excited about today's guest. I've been following him in Fort McMurray now for about 3 years. We kind of know each other from our online characters that we have, but I've never met this man in person before, so this is way too long in the making. Tanner, hit our guest camera, and sir, can you please introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you're all about, and then we can get on with our conversation.
Yeah, you bet. My name's Batchelor. I moved to Fort McMurray about 3 years ago. I work at a car dealership here in town, Legacy Dodge. Really proud to be up there, and I'm a very busy guy in the community. There's nothing that this city has to offer that I don't try to explore.
Right. So when you moved here, so like you said, Legacy Dodge, that's where you're working. Now you had a YouTube channel and you had this journey that you went on and you documented it for a year. So can you go into that journey? I understand kind of why you started, but how did it start and why did you decide to document it and share it with the world?
Yeah, 100%. When I moved here, like maybe a lot of people, I wasn't necessarily in a really good position in my life, whether it was financial or just, headspace or whatever it was. And in a really quick time, I was blessed with some really great opportunities that allowed me to turn my life around really quickly. And I was like, you know what, if I can do this, I'm sure there's a ton of other people who can do it as well too. Maybe people would love to see or witness or follow along this type of journey or this type of story. So in 2018, for an entire year, I posted a YouTube video each and every single day about a personal improvement. Some sort of challenge, and some of them are really, minuscule and tiny, and some would say not important, but I was adding a new one each day. So by the end of the year, there was 365 things, big or small, that I had on my plate, and it was really just to be a model or an example of, hey, if I can do it, just do it with me. Let's just do this together. And it was a pretty cool thing. It was definitely really hard to find the time every day to not only film but also post a video. And by the end of the year, I was featured on national news outlets, radio, a bunch of other things as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was an awesome journey to follow. And then you ended up losing like a ton of weight as well.
Yeah, so one of the days was themed about fitness. So for 6 days a week for an entire year, I did some sort of workout. And that combined with healthy eating and some other things allowed me to lose quite a bit of weight, but most importantly, just a bunch of body fat, which means, I got stronger at the end of the year. I was more able, I was more flexible. A funny one in it was that I could touch my toes, which was something I couldn't do before. I learned how to do a standing backflip, something I've wanted to do my entire life. I've learned as a 35-year-old adult male who'd never been to gymnastics in his life. And so a lot of things were, cool, like, I lost some weight, but the cooler things was, hey, here was a skill or a challenge or something I've always wanted to do, and I was able to figure that out.
So through that journey, out of all of the different challenges that you put together, is there one outside of the backflip, you just mentioned that like stands out to you out of all of them that you're like, that was amazing, or that impacted me in one way, shape, or form?
You know what, I get this question a lot from it, and it was one that I knew was going to be a pretty cool one to put in, but my favorite day was I had Feel Good Fridays, which I just dedicated to good deeds. How could I have 52 good deeds, just like and I went abstract, and I had every Friday on my way to work, I called out to a friend. So I wrote down 52 names on a calendar, and for an entire year, I called one of these 52 friends and just connected. People that maybe I hadn't talked to in a month, a year, 3 years, 10 years. I had 52 different people that I was going to catch up with on a Friday. And I mean, it was just such a, such a spirit lifter and such a bright spot of my week,
That's amazing. That is a good one. Oh, wow. Okay. And so throughout doing this, like, because I make some videos, I put them online. People reach out to me. How did you deal with that in regards? It's different, especially in the community that we live in. We were talking a little bit before we started filming. What we do is very untraditional for this community. We don't get on a bus every day, head out to work, and then come back and rinse and repeat. So for some people, it's kind of like, oh, this is a novelty what we do. The feedback that you got from doing what you're doing, how did you deal with it? What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually have a really huge audience, which was kind of unique. I mean, I was glad that some national news media picked it up. CBC and CTV and Global all did a feature on me. But I didn't have a ton of subscribers. I didn't have a ton of views on each video. And I really think that a lot of it was really just I wanted to see it done. So whether or not one person, 500 people, or 1,000 people saw my video, I had a goal, I had a plan, I knew what I was going after. So I really just stayed focused on that, not necessarily on how many views I was getting. I think anybody that saw a video was either supportive, or if they didn't get it, they just didn't say anything. I kind of guess I was probably pretty fortunate in a social media world not to get much hate, because I'm sure there's a ton of people that sit at their keyboards and like to tear people down. But I feel like my postings were pretty harmless for the most part, and anybody that did take time to reach out was incredibly supportive.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's good. I think your mindset is a great one in regards to you see so many creators burning out because they do get addicted to seeing like the likes and the views, and then when those stop coming in to the level that they're accustomed to seeing it, well, they get a little bit depressed, right? So just doing it for yourself, that's the way to do it.
100%. It definitely had a lot less impact, or at least a lot less views than I thought. But again, I know that the impact was there, because I still have people that reach out to me and say, hey, I'm just looking for someone to steer me in the right direction. I know you did some pretty crazy things a year or two ago, or they read my book, and that's been something that's encouraged them to get in touch with me and ask me for advice, or again, just some way of helping them get focused. So I know it made an impact, even though I wasn't view chasing or making my content out there to get some sort of get famous or anything like that.
Right. Now there's a place that we both frequently go to. It's the Thickwood Barbershop next to the Black Horse. Little plug for Ali, and just a reminder, everybody at home, we will be at Thickwood Barbershop doing a live on location on Monday upcoming. Outside of your YouTube channel, this is how I really got enthralled with you. Is you used to have a picture on a TV just constantly at the barbershop. How, and you were one of the first and only ones for the most part. How did you come up with just the awesome picture that you ended up choosing and the concept to put it at the barbershop?
Well, I started working at Legacy in 2017, and I've been in sales my whole life. I used to work as a travel agent. I used to work in sport retail, and I always knew that if I did something different than everybody else at my workplace, I would typically get more sales, get more business, get more customers. So I knew that when I moved to Fort McMurray, being a small community where everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, I just wanted to make sure when people walked in the doors of Legacy Dodge, they came looking for me, because they'd seen me somewhere. Whether it was I was out in the community, whether it was I was making funny videos that the dealership was posting, whether there's a cardboard cutout of me in the grocery store, or they saw my face at the barber shop, I knew that putting attention and focus into getting my name out there was going to be really, really important. I mean, I only moved to Fort McMurray 3 years ago. I was here for 4 days before I got a job at the dealership. And so every single day I've lived in Fort Mac, I've been at that dealership. Like that's my home.
That's awesome, man. So that dovetails into my next question for you, because I'm fascinated why people decide to move and relocate and stay here. I'm boring. I was born and raised here. So what initially brought you to Fort McMurray? How did you hear about it? Where are you from?
Well, I have my incredible, talented, and lovely wife to thank for that. I was actually working as a bartender in a restaurant in Vancouver, where my wife happened to meet me. She was studying nutrition in Vancouver and happened to catch eyes with me, and we had a wonderful summer of love, and it was all great. And when winter came and she said it was time to go back to Fort McMurray, I had a choice of staying in Vancouver or moving to Fort McMurray and continuing our relationship. So I came out here, I packed everything up, and no real plan, no real career direction or anything, and just kind of went with the flow.
Nice. So you followed your heart.
Exactly.
That's what brought you to Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And now that you're here, you're extremely active in the community. So what about Fort McMurray, obviously outside of like your wife, like what makes this special? What makes the community special for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've only lived in big cities my entire life: Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa, Edmonton. So cities where, apart from my work, there's tons going on. Going to concerts, restaurants, all sorts of other stuff at night. And I think I've always had that big city mentality, whereas like if there's downtime, you're doing something. I wasn't necessarily much of a homebody. I actually spent very little time at home. When I was living in Vancouver, I was renting out my own home because of how little time I was spending at home, putting a room up for rent on Airbnb. So like I was literally renting out my own bedroom because I was like, I don't need to spend any time at home. When I moved to Fort McMurray, I was eagerly looking up, okay, what's going on? What is there here? And it wouldn't even matter what it was, I would do it. On my first month here, there was a radio ad for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they said, hey, we need some mentors. We need people to be part of this program. We have huge waiting lists of kids that are looking for mentors. And so I called in and was instantly interviewed, went through the 6-month screening process, and was matched with my little brother. And so, I mean, that's something I've been doing almost since I moved here as well. So great way to get involved in the community. Me and my little brother, we go to every event and activity that's around: Santa Claus parade, trampoline gym, ski hill, whatever's happening. I've got a partner in crime to go check it out. So I just think that if you look for it, there's always something going on here.
Right. And that's one of the other things, because you document some of the stuff and I see you doing these things. And what you just said is beautiful, especially about Fort McMurray. And I hope everybody at home is listening to that. It's one of my biggest pet peeves that I hear in this community is like, there's nothing to do. I'm like, oh, there's a lot to do. Like, you can't do it all. There's so much things to do, but you get out there and you do it.
Same things I'd be doing in Vancouver, I can do here. Go for a hike on the Birchwood trails, go to the ski hill, go down to Gregoire Lake, hang out by the beach. You can get it all done here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, I'm going to lose track of time because I want to talk to you more. But before I lose track of time, we have a segment here called the Mac City Minute. Yep. The man behind the camera, Tanner, he's going to ask you 5 questions. Just rattle off the honest answer in your head. Are you ready for it?
I'll do my best.
All right, Tanner, hit him with your questions.
Question number 1. What classic car would you want to take a drive around in the Mac City?
Classic car. I've always been more of an import guy, so maybe like a really nice Skyline from the 80s or the 90s. I think that would be as classic as I get.
Question number 2. Why should people come and see you if they need a new car?
Because we've got an incredible team at Legacy Dodge. We try really, really hard to change people's minds about how great that dealership is. We've got the best vehicles on the market, and I'm the best guy in town.
Question number 3 for you. How is a Fort McMurray buyer different than a buyer in other places?
A Fort McMurray buyer?
Yeah, you've sold lots of things in lots of places. So.
Yeah, I think a Fort McMurray buyer really just demands quality and service. Those are the two things that we care about up here. If we pay for something, we want it to be good and worth the dollar, and we really care about the way that it's presented and offered to us.
Question number 4. What has been your favorite vehicle to drive?
I've got a 2006 BMW M3. I've wanted it since I graduated university. It's always been a dream car of mine, and I picked one up a year and a half ago, and it's by far my favorite ride. It's like a go-kart.
Last question for you. How has being in Fort McMurray changed how you see Canada as a whole?
Fort McMurray is a perfect example of what you get in a community, right? People here look out for their neighbors. If it's cold weather out, everyone's out to jump people's vehicles. You know, if there's a flood, people are eager to open up their houses. I mean, this is a community. People love and care about their neighbors.
All right, those have been your 5 questions.
There you go, man. You killed it. Crushed it. Okay, let's talk about cars for a little bit.
Sweet.
So I have a classic British car. I have a 1979 MG.
Okay.
I love it. Convertible midget. It's like the smallest thing on the planet. I just love it, especially when the top's down. So that's my car of choice in the summer. You have a number of different cars, so you're a real car guy. How did you get involved in cars? Why do you have the cars that you've got?
Well, growing up, my dad used to always get car magazines delivered to the house, and it was always my duty or job to cut out the photos I liked the most before he even got home from work. It used to drive him nuts, but I would cut around the words so I didn't ruin any of the articles, but I would take all the cars that I liked and have them up on my wall. So I've always been a fan. Used to watch like Motoring, the car show on TSN all the time, and just was a huge follower of vehicles. There was a YouTube show called The Drive I watched all the time, and there's a whole bunch of YouTube reviewers that I watch religiously. So I didn't go looking for the car industry. I was offered a job at Legacy Dodge, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that thing. It was almost like a marriage made in heaven, because I was always such a big fan of cars. I never thought I'd sell them. But since being around them up at the dealership, I've got quite a collection started. And I've always loved cars. And I think it just started from cutting out pictures for magazines of cars I never thought I'd ever be able to own as a kid.
Nice. So is there... Well, I have one car that... I only have one more vehicle that I want to get, and then I'm done. But is there a car that like you want, you dream of, or have you been able to purchase your dream car?
100%. I want a yellow Lambo. I don't know if it'll happen in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't even really matter when, but there's a burning image in the back of my mind that I won't let go of. I know that someday I'll have a Lamborghini. What point in my life, I'm not, it's not like I need this today, I need this tomorrow. Right. But at some point I want a yellow Lamborghini. Yeah.
It doesn't matter like the year or the model, or you just...
Right now I like a Huracan, but like I said, at the time that I may be able to afford a Lamborghini, there might be a different model out, because like I said, if I don't get a Lamborghini for 10 years or 15 years, the model that I may want might be very different because something else might have come out. So no, I don't necessarily have a specific vehicle that I need to still get. I just have always wanted a Lambo, and at some point I'll make sure that dream's a reality.
Nice. You like the imports.
I do.
You like the imports and like the cars that go fast.
100%. I don't know what it is about the style of it, but like Audis and BMWs, I just think they're incredibly good-looking machines. I mean, mind you, since I was young, I've always wanted a Jeep Wrangler, and since moving to Fort Mac, I bought my first Wrangler like 3 weeks into being here. I've got a new one now with a big lift on it and 37s. So there's a lot of vehicles I like. I mean, if I could have 20 vehicles, I certainly would, but I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you like Jay Leno in that aspect.
If only someday I was blessed with the opportunity to have a garage like his, I wouldn't turn it down.
Nice. Yeah, mine was the MG. I wanted the MG. I've seen it like for years. Just something about it. You look at an MG, you can't help but smile. Mm-hmm. I like making people smile. So
for sure.
The MG. But the next one is a Toyota FJ,
Nice.
like the original
Yeah.
old school original SUV.
Yep.
I'm hoping like the MG's in red, so I'm thinking like either a blue or a green.
Yep.
But they're hard to find, man.
For sure.
And I'm not really mechanically minded per se, so I can't get it as a project. It already needs to be like in good running order. So yeah, that's mine.
Well, you're better off to try to find something quick, because a 10, 15, 20-year-old SUV, the market on that is only going up.
Oh, that's exactly it, man.
Just like a 15, 20, 25-year-old manual vehicle,
Right.
the market on that is going up. If there's
that's
two pre-owned vehicles that are trending right now more than anything,
Yeah.
it's those 80s off-road vehicles. So 4Runners, Grand Wagoneers, Land Rover, or Land Cruisers,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. Those 70s, 80s, 90s
Yeah.
SUVs. If you can get your hands on one of those in good condition, that's going to be worth a lot of money in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And same thing with manuals. As manuals are just going extinct, you know, you get a really nice, pristine BMW or even some Corvettes and stuff like that that are the manual versions. You're going to see the demand for those go up over the next 5-10 years as well.
It's the best thing. I couldn't agree with you more on that one, though. But, like, yeah, the MG is a stick shift. And, like, the FJ I'm looking for, it's already in that category of a classic car because it's, like, they were built in the 60s and the 70s. So they're already, I don't know, there's something about smelling that gasoline and, like, moving that gear shift and, like, playing with, the clutch. It's, like, I don't know. That, to me, is driving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so man, we're at the end of our time. So
It's crazy.
It flies. Like I guess I could make it longer, but if it was any longer, then you couldn't come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
So thank you for making the time for coming today. It's way overdue, but any point in time that you want to come back, hopefully this is only the first of many visits that you have to the Mac City Morning Show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. All right, well, Fort McMurray. Today's Monday. We have a great list of individuals coming up this week, so stay tuned. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thanks to my awesome guests for showing up today. Really do appreciate it. And hopefully you're having a great day. My name's Elliot Pierre. This is the Mac City Morning Show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I just said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.